Hi, good morning. Welcome to AWS reInvent 2020. I'm pretty excited to be part of this roundtable discussion with the two of the executive leaders from Western Union. Today we have with us Amit Sharma, the Chief Information Officer of Western Union, and Sanjay Sankoli, Head of Enterprise Architecture, Western Union, with us. And by the way, I am Krishna Mohan from Tata Consultancy Services. I'm the head of AWS business unit within TCS. Before we go into the more of the details, and the main topic here is how cloud is playing a very pivotal role in enterprise transformation, business transformation. We would definitely look forward for experiential insights from both Amit and Sanjay. I just right now would like to invite Amit and Sanjay to introduce themselves.
Hi, Krishna. Great to be here. Thanks for having us virtually. My name is Amit Sharma. I'm the CIO for Western Union. I have a responsibility of overall enterprise services and enterprise IT, and looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you, Amit. Sanjay?
Thanks for inviting me here. This is Sanjay Sankoli. I'm head of enterprise architecture at Western Union. So, under this agenda, I run the architecture efforts across cloud and the overall enterprise application that serves our customers.
Thank you, Sanjay. So before we get into the how Western Union build the future-ready enterprise with cloud, I just want to provide a quick view on how TCS is looking at the overall cloud space and how it is evolving, what is the market trends that we're seeing. Definitely, cloud has been there for probably 5+ years and has played a significant role in last 2-3 years in driving technology transformation. But what we are seeing in the last 18 months or so, the role of the cloud has improved from a technology transformation to business transformation. Cloud platforms have definitely become core to the organization's innovation system, by driving technology, not only in IT space, cutting across beyond IT, even into the core business and the OT space. One of the key things we're looking at it is from a cloud role perspective, it's definitely driving the key force behind accelerating the business value delivery for enterprises. What we call it as probably the cloud is the new ERP, if you will. A couple of decades back, ERP systems definitely drove the digitization of the enterprises while making the processes digital specifically from a corporate functions, if you will, what is the system of records. Now, cloud is what ERP was for, very digital core for enterprises. And the cloud is the new ERP for the digitalization of the overall enterprise sector. The way that we see it is these are the three key things that cloud delivers: scalability, agile innovation, and the perpetual value, perpetual business value. From a scalability perspective, recently we have seen in COVID days, the enterprises are definitely looking at cloud, not only from a disaster recovery perspective. The expectations have gone to disaster resilience, if you will. Immutable infrastructure that is offered by the cloud platforms, the low code, no code application and DevOps that actually capabilities that is offered by the cloud is definitely driving overall enterprise resiliency and scalability. The other standpoint, if you look at agile innovation, the adoption of cloud has been more initially on improving the customer experience, making the digital channels agile. That's where in the previous, probably 3 years back, the focus and the entry into the cloud was mainly focused on. Now, cloud is driving deployment of new business models. Again, COVID has shown us in retail sector very quickly making the entire products available on the curbside pickup. So the entire business process has to be redesigned and in an agile way, and new business models have to be deployed. So cloud has played a significant role. Similarly, rolling out payment gateways, uh, given that the loan distribution, the lot of governments are actually given the packages and the whole loan distribution of that to the broader public beyond enterprises, cloud has played a significant role. Moving into the perpetual value, I think that is where the cloud definitely has a huge role to play. And we are seeing examples across the industries. And one such example we will actually hear from the Western Union leadership here today is about driving the perpetual value. It has become the innovation engine, uh, driving the not only within a specific industry but the whole cross industry innovation and integration. Cloud has become the digital fabric and a binding fabric, if you will, beyond an industry, and even driving an ecosystem play across the industries. So with this context, and this is how we are looking at cloud, and with this context, I definitely would like to you know seek the inputs and the wisdom from the leaders here between Amit and Sanjay. Amit, I will go ahead and ask first question to you. Western Union has embarked on a cloud transformation journey, leveraging AWS as the primary cloud platform. Would you please share the business and technology drivers behind this whole initiative? Uh, that will be great, Amit.
Sure, Krishna. Before I get into the drivers and from the business and technology side, let me just quickly introduce Western Union. Western Union has always been about connecting people, no matter where you are in the world. Okay, our focus on customer has allowed us to reinvent ourselves time and time again. Okay, today our product and services enable payments and money transfer across the borders globally. Okay, we have about 550,000 locations. It's a robust network of locations around the world and fastest growing digital payment channel. Okay, so with that said, I think you touched on a few of the things in your opening. Um, Cloud was a enterprise discussion for us, right? It was really about maximizing the business value. It was not a initiative or project. Okay, so I would call it a business technology transformation or digital transformation to build the next generation of platforms, right? So one of the key business drivers I was to start with was business agility. Okay, we wanted to increase or accelerate innovation and time to market in the company as cloud computing allows our valuable technology resources to focus on building new products and new offering that differentiates in the market and also transforms the customer experience. Okay, and then rather than those resources working on day-to-day management or data centers or infrastructure, we really wanted to maximize the innovation and the time to market. Second, I would say business resiliency or elasticity, right? As you know, the cloud allows you to scale up, scale down on demand for your search. Before cloud, we had to purchase over provision of our environment to handle the business operation for peak. And so now, with the ability to scale up and scale down, and having these high availability zone, you can really build applications. Those are highly available, have much better performance. So that's really gives us a lot of business resiliency as well. I would also add on the resiliency side the security. Cloud comes with so much security built in that you can leverage for authentication, for encryption, and interconnected secure availability zone. So it really allows you to build your security standards. So as a security first and a cloud first model. Um, then I would move on to the cost savings. As I said earlier, prior to cloud, you had to over provision your environment to support the peak. But now you can scale up and scale down. So with cloud, you only pay for what you use. You don't have to over provision. And now you're not buying the hardware. You can really turn your capex spend to more opex spend. So you pay for what you use. So that allows companies to really free up the dollars to invest into some critical initiatives. Finally, I would say the end-to-end technology delivery was focused from the technology side, right? Delivering in agile fashion and building the applications in cloud native. So it's a heavy lifting up front, but it really maximizes the value in the long run. And Sanjay and I had a lot of discussion around developer experience. Um, what kind of experience we want to deliver in our multi-cloud journey. So maybe Sanjay, I will let you touch upon some of those drivers there.
Yeah, thanks, Amit. See, the idea for us was to go through this entire standards based cloud journey, if you will. So the key was to empower, beyond what Amit said, empower your development community to focus most of their energies on development rather than doing all the technology plumbing, if you will. So to that extent, that was another key factor for us to adopt cloud. Yeah.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Sanjay. Uh, One other question I have, probably Sanjay, if you could, provide some visibility here. What kind of preparation and planning an enterprise has to do before embarking on such a large transformation program? Because not only cloud, it is a business transformation as well. And what are the key things that an enterprise should plan from various aspects of it? Not only technical, business, technology, and the other aspects. So it would be great to hear from you.
Mhm. So let me walk you through what the journey we went through. Yeah. So the first and foremost was to justify why cloud. Yeah. Obviously, all the factors that Amit just mentioned. The idea here was your message has to resonate with predominantly your business community, something where we were really focused on how do we actually drive new revenue streams, how do you actually support the current revenue with a much better speed, if you will, or cost of delivering those services. So essentially the idea was to have the right formulate the right reasons why cloud, which actually appeals to your business community, your CEO, your board, your executive team, if you will, and rest of the technology community in general. Yeah. So the once we identify the right business justification, being in financial world, one of the key tenets of justifying a cloud strategy, obviously, is to also take into account the regulatory picture. Yeah. Particularly when you operate in so many countries like we do, and operate so many remote locations like Amit just mentioned, we do come under significant regulatory scanner from regulators all around the world. So what does this cloud journey mean? Have that answered as well as part of your cloud strategy. So that was the keystone of our cloud strategy. Once we had the right justification for the cloud and we had significant support from all the layers within our organization, the next part of the journey was to actually formulate a clear cloud strategy, right? How do you actually take this on? Like you rightfully mentioned here, cloud is just not about infrastructure, it's entire business transformation. So the first aspect of going to cloud was pick the right cloud service providers. So essentially, we went through and we picked AWS as a preferred partner. Once you do that, the next key decision for us was how do you actually find the right partner who could help us through this journey? Yeah. So essentially, we went through the journey. We have TCS as one of our partners who's helping us through this journey. It's a critical decision, if you will. So you need partners who've been there, who've done that. So essentially, what does that cloud strategy entail? Cloud strategy entails it changes fundamentally how you operate the organization, right? Your entire operating model. How do you actually the finance processes do evolve? They need to evolve. to work with this new cloud operating model, if you will. How do you budget for that? How do you forecast for that? How do you monitor for that? How do you actually optimize your spend, if you will? So there's a method to that madness around financial reengineering, process reengineering. At the same time, your product organizations change. We are shifting our mindset from a more project-driven enterprise to more product-driven enterprise, right? When you do that, cloud is such a key piece of that puzzle there. Yeah. So essentially, identifying the organizations that are impacted by that operating model shift and having taking that particular organization through a journey. Your operating model changes in terms of how you're organized, because now you're no longer delivering traditional infrastructure the traditional way. It's all delivered as code. It's all immutable. So a lot of policies change there. How you develop software, how do you test software, how do you release software, all of those processes evolve. So once we identified the right partner, the strategy we took as a company was identifying what are the workloads that are right fit for the cloud. Obviously, no matter organizations like Western Union obviously have multiple portions to their cloud journey. One could be your legacy modernization aspect of things. You do have your services locked in legacy assets. You want to kind of, to some extent, unlock the potential you have hidden in your legacy assets. So essentially, nothing new. We had very similar journey there. Then obviously there are certain workloads that are running in your traditional data centers. You can actually optimize that by taking those, optimizing the workloads a little bit and moving them to cloud. Those are your lift and shift workloads. So you need a framework where rest of the organization can use to decide and qualify what workloads work best on cloud. Yeah. And then obviously brand new developments. Yeah. So the key tenet for us to continue with this journey was to have a very standards-based approach. What does that mean? You define your various blueprints that will allow you to analyze your legacy assets, understand what the legacy assets do, and then see how you can uncover a whole lot of value out of your legacy assets so you can redesign a brand new stack that can serve your markets better, be extremely agile, support the faster time to delivery, if you will, that the organization expects. So we did use Mastercraft, certain tool sets in TCS's arsenal that helped us kind of achieve some of those core modernization objectives. At the same time, we do have significant application blueprints developed. This is all about empowering the development community, to what Amit was saying. So now, as we continue to re-engineer new service offerings or modernize existing service offerings, now you predominantly build on top of an existingly strong architecture foundation, if you will, that is secure, that can scale, that's monitored very well, that our operations teams understands how to operate those underlying foundational capabilities extremely well. So now your development community doesn't spend a whole lot of time thinking about these plumbing, if you will, but they're mostly focused on what's the business problem and how do I apply the technology to solve the problem. Yeah. So that's the whole idea behind standards-driven organization. So essentially what we touched upon is having a very strong business case to justify why cloud, having a very strong governance model, having a right partners identified, having a standards-based approach to do that. Then the third part is your operating model itself, right? Day two, as you evolve your cloud journey, as an organization, how do you mature? So this is where we want to actually set up a cloud center of excellence, which is a very popular thing these days. But obviously, your cloud center of excellence are either functional in nature or either fairly, they just do cloud internal advocacy, if you will. So our preferred methodology within Western Union was to set up or start off as a functional cloud center of excellence. This is where we truly wanted to partner with key players such as TCS, set up what I called an immersive learning experience for the rest of the team. We work with the team, we handhold the team to that journey. So essentially, as we mature, if you will, right, we can then disconnect. The teams have absorbed quite a lot of knowledge of how cloud works. So that way, that's empowering different teams to be self-sufficient, if you will, right? So those are some of the journeys that we took, we went through. But one of the key elements of this was having a phenomenal talent strategy, if you will. There's a significant organization change management that has to occur as you go through this cloud adoption journey. How do you recruit? How do you retain the talent? How do you have multi-pronged strategy where you're bringing in new talent at the same time you're providing tools, technology, support for your existing team to understand how to be proficient and operate cloud. So these were some of the steps Western Union went through for us to get to where we are with cloud today.
Thank you, Sanjay. That was a very detailed explanation. Definitely, I think cloud is not just a technology journey. We have to sync up with the business units, what is in it for them, the entire organization change management, governance, that as you said, the entire models, the support model, the operating model itself will become more agile. That's great to hear. And I am pretty sure that you have, uh, you know, banking and financial services industry. So definitely there's a lot of complexity into it. And uh, I think thank you for detailing that entire journey. That's definitely useful. One of the thing is, Sanjay, you are almost probably a couple of years into this journey, maybe in the last leg of the transformation. From an execution perspective, from a technical execution perspective, any challenges that you had faced, and how have you addressed them?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, right? I mean, obviously, when you go through such a massive transformation journey, there are always things that you learn the hard way. Yeah. So essentially, one of the key things that was typical of our journey is once you formulate your strategy, once you understand where you're headed, what we have observed is there's a tendency for teams to continue experimenting, and the experimenting goes for such a long time. You get caught into this, what I would call a POC, proof of concept chaos. Yeah, you don't actually move on. So this is where leveraging your existing partners, their experience, talking to AWS architects. AWS is a phenomenal customer support model, if you will. We have dedicated architects from AWS dedicated to us. We have dedicated architects from TCS within our architecture community at Western Union, relying on their experience, understanding where things are headed, and going through this concept of an agile journey. So one of the popular things I have, one of my colleagues kept on telling me was, don't let perfection to be enemy of good, right? You start with a solution that's good enough and then work through a continuous improvement journey around that. That's the philosophy behind cloud, right? That's what allows you to quickly adapt, quickly change. Your new microservices architectures that have come in are fairly forgiving when it actually comes to improving how they deliver services. It's phenomenally, a lot of these things have come together really well these days. Yeah. So kind of first thing was actually, once you justify, one of the key corners of justifying your cloud was to make sure you're redirecting your investment to there's a balance between investing in new revenue generating opportunities as well as your cost optimization, if you will. So that actually gets all the communities connected right away. And then leveraging your partners, their experience in going through their journey was one big learning for us. And the second thing is optimization is gradual, if you will. So day one, you won't actually take your workload from your data center, take it to cloud, and operate it in the best way possible. That never happens really. So there's no point in aspiring to that. The idea was to take your workloads, have certain KPIs, take them to cloud, get it to operate well in cloud, get your community, your operations community, your security community, your development community, your business community, your customers comfortable with all of that, and then constantly improve on the delivery model of cloud, if you will. So over a period of time, you will reach an optimal working model within cloud. So that was the second learning. The third was key. If you don't give importance to an organization change management, if you don't actually focus on having an integrated talent strategy as well around this, integrated people management strategy around this, the journey gets too difficult, if you will. So you want to upfront start with a philosophy of having a multi-pronged strategy to strengthen your organization. That means infusing new talent, be it talent coming from your partnership, be it your new hiring strategy, and then providing at the same time providing tools, technology, and support, if you will, to your existing team to go through that immersive learning experience of cloud adoption and getting proficient onto cloud over a period of time. That I think is a recipe for success, if you will.
Thank you, Sanjay. I think it's very clear. Getting a strategy is important, but getting the architecture, the future-ready architecture, is important. But for enterprises, it's pretty complex workloads and applications. You have mainframes. I'm sure the mainframe modernization and legacy modernization is a big aspect of your this thing. So do not aspire to be perfect in day one. Also, I think the cloud continues to evolve, and the capabilities that the AWS and the hyperscalers and the technology industry is actually delivering on a continuous basis. We need to see how to adapt that and then grow. So, Amit, one question that I wanted to ask, and it's been a journey, a couple of years into it, and I know you have set your initial targets that what you want to achieve. uh, Obviously the technology, but more importantly from a business outcomes perspective, as you said, agility, experience. So where are you right now? Amit, what are the things that you already got benefited, and how the businesses are reacting to what's the implementation of this cloud transformation and the business transformation that you embarked on?
Sure, Krishna. Before I get into the delivery and the business benefit, I really want to stress the point what Sanjay said. The organizational change management is so important. Sanjay and I, we have so many discussions with every layers of our organizations, and not only technology, but every different department. You have to go cross functional and educate everybody about the cloud, and then and this at the parallel, you also need to make sure you have a governance body to governing from the security, from the infrastructure side, from FinOps side. So you really need to. We almost created an 8-9 governing body from the architecture all the way down to I would say FinOps. So it's really important for you to focus on culture change, as well as how do we govern that. And once your organization matures, you can really start to free up and really get the value. Going back to the business value, I would say we took a 3-phase approach. In the first phase, our goal was to start building and modernizing our core capabilities and building them into, I would say, microservices and API as products, right? So I think we are well underway in a journey, and that is showing benefits to our business. We have much, I would say, our applications are responding with it almost in some cases 10 times better in the response time. So that journey is continuing. In the parallel, we have another journey that's started is calling redesigning the customer journey, right? So we start looking at okay, now we have these new capabilities and new services. How do I improve customer capability? So let's just say how can I onboard the agents faster? How do I build modernized APIs for easy integration? So those things are ongoing. Then third thing is that start that's in staggered fashion would be reimagine the business, which is where we start building a new ecosystem for our customers, start building new products for our customers. That's where we are, and then of course that's happening in all agile fashion with different work streams, and then there are different work streams as a scrum teams, and those are moving forward. So it's been a lot of fun, and then this program is well underway, and we would say we are close to getting a half done, and this we couldn't be there without your support and AWS support.
Thank you, Amit, and thank you, Sanjay. Definitely an exciting journey, as you can hear from directly from you, the leaders who are driving it, and glad to know that there is already benefits that you're realizing halfway through, and I only see it potentially. Probably we'll get an opportunity to connect again once the entire program is done completely successfully rolled out, and it will become a success story, a template for the financial services on AWS and the overall cloud transformation and the business transformation as well. Really appreciate your time. Uh, Thank you again. This is what we had for you. This 30 minutes quick, and we can always connect later, uh, for more readers. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, and we look forward to further discussions anytime you like to have a more detailed discussion.